Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Gabe coming back at you again with a brand new video here at Truckin' Life. Should you become an owner operator at the end of 2024 and going into 2025? We're going to discuss my experiences, what I see in the market and everything, and we'll get into it. Stay tuned.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Hey guys, so welcome back to another video. It was kind of like a little bit of an unplanned video, I came to checking my truck out, and it's going to be tied in kind of to the topic that we're going to be talking about today, of being an owner operator, and I came to just fire up the truck, just charge up the batteries. I haven't ran for a little while. I got sick and throughout the Thanksgiving holiday here. I hope you guys had a good holiday. I kind of had, I still had family over and stuff like that, but I was feeling like crap. I had fever, but all in a nutshell, it was okay, but it was kind of shitty because I was sick. But as I was checking my truck out, I noticed that my stepper gauges were not working again. And here's what's left of the stepper motor. I took it apart, and that stupid little motor thingy right there, I guess messed up somehow. These Chinese parts, man, they're a pain in the butt to get a hold of, and they don't really work all that great. So I had to tear up the dash again, and luckily now that I know how to do it, it's not that bad, but it's just it's annoying. You know what I mean? And these are the kind of things, guys, that you guys are going to have to deal with if you decide to become an owner operator. There is some positives and there is some negatives, despite so many people kind of contradicting each other, because it's very simple. Everybody's different and everybody's looking for something different in trucking. And not only that, but in trucking, there's so many different sectors.
So there's many different sectors. You could be doing trash trucking, the hauling trash away. You can be hauling lumber. You can be doing the oil field, hauling oil, hauling fuel, hauling diesel. You can be doing LTL, over the road truck driving like I'm doing. You can be doing regional, dedicated lanes. I mean, there's so many different types of trucking, and it's like not a one size fits all. Not everybody does drive-in. Not everybody does. Um, um, Lost my train of thought here. Like step deck or flatbed or anything like that. Like the conventional type of trucking. There's specialized. There's oversized, overweight. Like it's specialized truck hauling. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different sectors that you can go into trucking, and that's the great thing about having your CDL is that you have many choices to where if in one industry it's not working, you can always switch to another. I've personally done most of the over the road trucking that I've done before has been hauling a van trailer. I did a little bit of reefer about 2-3 years or so. I did about 4 or 5 years hauling oil in the oil field, hauling diesel and oil and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it just depends on where you're going to be an owner operator, because for example, like right now being an owner operator on the road, it's hard because rates are shitty. Simple as that. Rates right now are crappy. The market is crappy. But I got a buddy that's in the oil field right now, with his own truck and his own tanker and all that stuff. And, it varies, sometimes he'll make $10,000-$12,000 a week. There's other weeks that he'll make $5,000-$7,000 a week. There's other weeks where he'll make $4,000 a week, but one of the main reasons why I don't really go to the oil field right now, even though that most of you that are driving over the road right now might be saying like, well, shit, that's pretty good money, but it's a shitload of hours. It's hard work. And I ain't afraid of the hard work. I'm willing to do the hard work, no problem. The problem is, the investment that it takes having to buy a tanker. A tanker right now, even for a used tanker right now, that's kind of good. That's the key. Kind of good. 40, 50 grand. Then you got your PTO and wet kit and hydraulic lines and your testing equipment, your thief and your test tubes and your hydrometers and tape measure and, all the crap that you need to buy for the oil field. That's another $10, $11, $12,000. And that's not installed. That's just buying the stuff. And bear in mind, I'm giving you prices that are used, not even new. So for me to go to the oil field right now, it would be like probably $75,000 in an investment. And it's just, I just don't want to spend that type of money right now. But, that's just like one field that somebody can go into an owner operator, right? Or you can go into owner operator and like what I'm doing right now, which is OTR. And the rates are crappy, but there's so many different things that you can do that kind of changes your mindset, whether should I become an owner operator or should I not become an owner operator. I will tell you guys this. I've said this before in my videos. I've been driving 18 years. 10 of those years have been an owner operator. 8 of those were as a company driver. I really wish that I wouldn't have listened to so many people that were more on the negative side. And I'm talking about owner operators that were already doing it. And they would kind of deviate you away. Now, were they lying to me? No, they weren't lying to me. I mean, yeah, you were going to be dealing with breakdowns and it's going to cost you money and all that stuff, but the market was good, when I started 18 years ago. Like, I wish I would have became an owner operator faster. Do a year experience on the road, go right into trucking as an owner operator, and I think my life would be so much different right now because I would have taken advantage of those good times where you can make money. And because I listened to so many, different opinions from different people, I didn't do it, and, back in those days, I was already married. I had one kid on the way, but I didn't have astronomical bills like the way I have now, or, house payment, car payments, kids' clothes, and anybody that's a parent, you know what I'm talking about. It's just more expenses. But that's just the key right there. It might be somebody that might be looking into making the leap and to go to an owner operator, and maybe they're single, maybe it's a 24 or 25-year-old girl or guy, a gal or guys, and maybe they're not married and it's just them, and it might be a good fit for them. Everybody looks for trucking for something different. Some people may look at going into an owner operator, get a little bit more freedom. Maybe it might not necessarily be a crap load more money. I mean, yes, you want to make more money. It ain't worth doing all this crap if you ain't going to make more money. If you're going to make more money as a company driver, then you might as well stay there, get benefits, and you don't have to worry about the truck, I do miss those days when I was a company driver and let's just say I have a blow up. I mean, yeah, it's going to waste a little bit of my time because I got to take it somewhere to go get fixed or have somebody come to me. But it wasn't like, oh crap, that's another $500-$600 or $700 or $800 or $1,000, depending where you're at for a tire. It was just like, hey, a tire blew. I'm in this place. They send you somebody and you're good to go. You keep on trucking. You got check engine lights or whatever. Hey, I got check engine lights. They tell you where to take it or whatever. They get you a hotel. Some companies pay you downtime, breakdown. Some of them don't. But when you're an owner operator, all that shit goes out the window. You got that, yellow middle finger is what I like to call it, because that's exactly what it is. It ain't a check engine light, it's a yellow middle finger that's right in your face. It's like, now you start stressing out like, crap, what is it? Because it's coming out of your pocket. It's coming out of your earnings. And sometimes these earnings, guys, is not enough to cover the repair. I've talked about this before in my videos. I really strongly believe that the reason why I do consider myself a successful owner operator. Again, I've been doing it for 10 years. And, but I think one of the biggest reasons why I've been successful is because I know how to work on my truck. I do everything on my truck: rear ends, transmissions, engines, injectors, rocker arms, Everything, you name it, I know how to do it on my truck. And that would be the biggest advice that I would give somebody that's going to go into the industry, that's going to go into the other side, which is owning your own truck. Learn about it. You get a truck that has a Cummins ISX, learn everything you can about that about that truck, about that engine, about that transmission, about rear ends. You know, nobody is born knowing how to do something, guys. You guys have to be willing to learn. When I came into the industry, I've always been mechanically inclined, but I didn't know squat about diesel. Nothing. Zero. Nada. You know what I mean? So what I would do on my 10 hours off, or whenever I would have a little bit of downtime in between, I bought the service manual for the Detroit Series 60 engine that I have, and I would go through it. You know, like start learning, okay, this is what this part is, this is what that part is, this is what this does, this is what that does, here's where the wiring harnesses are, and all that knowledge has paid off over time. And I mean, and I don't only know how to work on Detroit Series 60, I know the DD15 platform very well. I know the ISX a little bit, you know, I would probably say moderate on it. I'm more of a Detroit guy, but I do know how to work on ISX engines. And it's just a constant learning process, you know, so that when something does happen, it doesn't hit you by surprise. And so that's what my recommendation would be for you guys, would be to learn as much as you possibly can on the truck that you're looking into purchasing. Going on that same example, you know, it might be a 23, 24-year-old person that maybe is not married, but maybe they're broke, or they got shitty credit, or maybe they owe a lot of money. And that really wouldn't be a good idea to switch over, you know, because it costs money, guys, to get your own truck, you know, from purchasing it, financing it, you know, getting plates on it, 2290s, insurance, all that crap. Now, it is a little bit easier process if you buy your truck and you lease it onto a carrier like I did, you know, because then at that point, I mean, you're still paying for it, but you got that network that kind of helps you a little bit. But you got to have some backup money, you know, especially if you're not mechanically inclined. You got to have some backup money, because it's not a matter of if it happens, guys. It's when it happens. I guarantee you 1,000%. And this is not me being ill towards anybody else. I don't wish on anybody else what I don't want for myself. It's just being realistic. You're gonna have an issue at one point. It might be something simple, and it might be a big ass problem. You know what I mean? You want to have some money saved up in there, you know? And that's gonna be the difference between people that are in certain situations. You know, you might have somebody that has excellent credit, and maybe they got 30, 40, 50, $60,000 stashed up in the bank. You know, that's going to be a little bit easy to transition to being an owner operator, and they're going to have some cash flow, some capital, to where they can continue moving forward, even if they're not mechanically inclined. Maybe they have to pay for repairs or whatever. Like, everybody's situation is different, you know. I've had a couple of friends where they got lucky, you know, their dad was a truck driver. They had the truck and they gave it to their son, and then they went on from there. You know, they kind of inherited the truck or whatever. So it's many different things to consider when you're going to be an owner operator, because everybody's situation is different. You know, you might have somebody that's already working for a carrier that can transition to a owner operator, and maybe they've been doing a good job on a dedicated lane, and maybe that company's like, hey, bring your truck on and we'll give you that dedicated lane. That's going to be a little bit better success versus somebody working on the spot market right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different situations where you kind of have to just analyze your own situation. But here are my top things that I would look for on knowledge that I can share with you guys for being an owner operator 10 years. Number one would be having your house expenses low. The lower you can have your house's expenses, the better, because there's going to be a little bit more money in the pot for whenever you do have an issue with the truck. Number two, have a clear plan on what you want to do with your equipment, you know, whether it's going to be getting your own numbers or if you're going to lease onto a carrier. And if you're not really understanding what I'm talking about as far as leasing to a carrier, watch that Prime video. Go through my playlist. It'll be labeled Must Watch Prime video. And I explain the differences between leases. so you can understand it a little bit better if you want to know that, because I'm not going to get into it in this video. But have a clear plan on where you want to put your equipment, so that the day you get your equipment, bam, you're ready to rock and roll and you start making money. Because the trucks that's sitting, we've all have heard that saying before, guys. If the wheels ain't turning, you ain't making money, and that's 100% true. You ain't rolling, you ain't making no money. I've been home for this last week because of the holiday and because I got sick. My wheels have been stopped. I ain't making no money, because I'm just a one-man show, just me and my truck, and that's it. When the wheels ain't rolling, I ain't making no money. You know what I mean? Let me get a little bit of cafe. Another one of the things that I would recommend to you all, for somebody who's transitioning to owner operator, is many people focus on the look of the truck. If it's flashy, if the interior is going to work for them. And don't get me wrong, you don't want to get a piece of crap either. The number one thing that I would focus on is engine, electronics, transmission, and rear ends. Well, why do you say that, Gabe? Well, because without those pieces of equipment, you can have the best, beautiful truck, all chromed out, gorgeous truck. Ain't going to go nowhere if it doesn't have a good engine, if it doesn't have a good transmission, if it doesn't have good rear ends. My truck, guys, is a regular, basic fleet truck. When I bought my truck, it was a Ryder truck that had a good maintenance history. I checked everything out, and it's been a pretty good truck overall. Yes, it's a used truck and it's going to need stuff, but focus on the mechanical stuff. Don't focus so much on the exterior and, like as far as looks, focus on it having good tires, good brakes, good wheel seals, no engine leaks, no vibrations, no craziness with the transmission, your steering, stuff that's going to make the truck go. It could be an ugly, I've seen it before, guys, and I'm sure you guys have seen some ugly trucks out there, but some of those ugly trucks out there are very, very reliable, because the owners take very, very good care of them. They focus on these things that I'm telling you, transmission and stuff like that. The truck that's going to make the truck move, and move that box behind you, or tanker behind you, or whatever it is you guys do. That's what you guys want to focus on, is trying to make some money, and not so much an appearance. As time goes on or whatever, then if you want to put a little bit of chrome or a little bit of your touch on it, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But get all the mechanical stuff out of the way. If you're not mechanically inclined, take it to a trusted mechanic. If you don't know a trusted mechanic, talk to drivers. Maybe with the company that you're with right now, or if you're not with a company right now. I used to do this all the time. I would walk up to people there at the truck stop or whatever, and ask for opinions and stuff like that, or hey, do you know a good mechanic or whatever? Have it checked out, guys. Like, it's worth checking it out before just pulling the trigger, buying the truck, and then you have a problem. I've seen it so much at the shop, where they'll bring us the truck for an inspection, but they already purchased the mother. You know what I mean? It's like, if I find something on it now, yeah, well, we can fix it. But it's like, you're already on the hook. You already signed the documents. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, you should have brought it to us beforehand. And I know that that's difficult, because sometimes when if you're buying a truck from a dealer or whatever, they might not let you take the truck, or whatever, but most of them do. Like, if you give them a down payment or whatever, like something that they can hold on to, an ID, a down payment, hey, I'm going to take it over here, whatever, to get it inspected. They might go with you or whatever. Most of them will work with you so that you can get it inspected, because I ain't trusting their mechanics. Why? It's very simple, because they're the ones who are trying to sell it to me. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to lie to me about it, you know what I mean? But I think most people would feel more comfortable if you take it to somebody that you trust, or maybe one of your owner operator buddies that you trust them, and you just kind of give that blind trust to their mechanic that they trust. You know what I mean? Another big thing that I would recommend you guys doing is, I would probably say that this is probably the number one thing that I always tell people who have asked me about, hey man, Like, is it worth being an owner operator? The first thing I always tell them is you got to be willing to lose. You got to learn how to lose. And the reason why I say that is because we go back down to the same thing that I said before. It's not if it happens, it's when it happens. You will lose money at one point. And sometimes it sucks, guys. You know, there's been times where I'll roll all week and I'm like, heck yeah, you know, I'm going to get a $4,000 or $5,000 check, you know, and then something happens to the truck and then $2,000, $3,000 went into parts or something. Or sometimes it's been to the point where it's all my paycheck. So it's like, now I rolled for free all that week and I had to just put it back into the truck. Now, is it always like that? No, otherwise you would be out of business if it was always like that, right? But that's just the realities of being an owner-operator, guys. Another thing that I would probably say to somebody wanting to transition over to an owner-operator is be prepared to work more. A lot of people think that by going into an owner-operator, you're going to work less. Hell no, you're going to work more. Because a lot of times when you're at home, you know, when you're a company driver, you roll into the house, you drop that bad boy off, you do your post-trip inspection, and even if you do find something with it, hey, that's what's wrong with the truck. Peace out. Let me know when it's done. And you go home and you enjoy your home time. When you're an owner-operator, it doesn't work that way. You notice a problem with the truck, you got two options. Fix it yourself and try to save some money and mitigate damage, or drop it off to your mechanic and then just pay the bill. But you're going to work more because you're always going to be in the back of your mind stressing a little bit. Like, I think most owner operators always go through, like, even if your truck is running good, she's happy, she's rolling, you know what I mean? It's always behind your mind, like, oh man, you know, I hope nothing happens. Or, you know, you'll get to know your truck so good, guys. Believe me, even if you're already doing trucking in a company truck, you'll get to know your truck real good to where it's like, you know, you'll be driving down the road and it'll be, you know, a ticking sound. Tick, 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 tick. Huh. That doesn't sound normal. I wasn't doing that before. Like, you'll get to know it real good to where if she's doing something that she wasn't doing before, you're going to notice it. The only difference is now you're the one who has to stress about it. You break down on the side of the road, you know, yeah, the company might offer you support to get, you know, road service out there or whatever, but they're going to bill your ass when you get your settlement. It ain't going to be for free. You know what I mean? And they're expensive, guys. You know, it's expensive. However, do I think it's rewarding? It really is a love-hate relationship, guys. Sometimes I love trucking and sometimes I hate it. You know, for the most part, I'm kind of neutral. I'm thankful for trucking because I wouldn't have anything in my life if it wasn't for truck driving. You know, I'm able to have a nice house for my wife and my kids. You know, I drive a pretty nice, you know, pickup truck, and my wife drives her car. You know, we have decent furniture. You know, what I'm trying to say is we live okay. You know what I mean? Not rich or nothing, but just okay. You know what I mean? And the truck provided that. So it's been rewarding in that sense. And another thing is, I think it's been rewarding because I love the freedom to be able to choose where I go to, when I want to go to, and I'm able to take as much time as I want off. Now, there is a downside with taking as much time as you want off. Can I take the next 2 months off? Yup. Is someone going to be calling bitching at me because I'm taking time off? Nope. But it's going to cost you money because the wheels ain't rolling. You ain't making no money. You know, when your truck is down, even on a fully paid for truck, you're going to still have expenses. You're still going to have insurance and, you know, all the constants that come on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? So you got to prepare for that and save money so that you are able to take time off. And usually a lot of times when I take time off, it's, you know, working on the truck. You know, it's not all the time, you know, but sometimes it is working on the truck. And you want to make sure it's prepared so that, you know, I like to use this term. She's turnkey ready to go. My wife knows exactly what I mean by that. When the truck is not turnkey ready to go, I can't be kicked back in there at the house watching TV and just chilling knowing that I have something pending on the truck. It'll drive me insane. You know why? Because the truck's not turnkey ready to go. And the reason why I like to have it turnkey ready to go is because the moment can pop up at any notice. You know, it can pop up right now. Hey, there's this crazy load. that needs to be delivered. It's paying so much money. And if you have something pending, well, now you can't leave because you know that it's pending. Or if you do leave, you're going to be taking that risk of it might break down. You know what I mean? So it really is very difficult to answer that question, because everybody's in a different situation, whether you should or shouldn't do it. Most of the videos that I see on YouTube right now, because I'm also a viewer for other channels or whatever, most of them recommend you not to do it right now because the market's shitty. However, if you kind of look at it, I mean, that is true, but, also equipment is down right now. I mean, you can get yourself, I was looking at truck paper today, and there's plenty of, I like Cascadia, so I'm just going to talk about Cascadias. You can get a 30, 40, 35, 40,000, $45,000 truck that maybe with 450, 500,000 miles on it. So, still with some decent life left for 35, 40,000 bucks. That ain't that bad. 2 years ago, if you guys were looking for a truck, man, I mean, I saw trucks that were like a 99 Freightliner or a 2000, and they were going for $90,000, $100,000 with trucks that had 900, a million miles. And those people today are either super struggling or they're no longer in business anymore. So as far as making that leap to go to owner operator, right now would be the perfect time because equipment is down. But on the other hand, it's shitty rates, right? Hopefully now that we have a new administration in the White House, things are going to start looking up. And hopefully maybe we can start getting some better rates and, the economy can get better. In my personal opinion, the economy and trucking is tied together. They're hand in hand. When people have jobs and people are making money, that means that they're spending money. They're fixing up their houses, they're buying cars, they're buying electronics, appliances for the homes, you name it, money is flowing. And when money is flowing and consumer confidence is up, that means that there's going to be load volumes are going to go up, because there's going to be more things to move. That's why COVID was so great. People had money that the government was giving out, or however it is that they were getting it. Everybody was at home, so everybody was buying a lot, and there was crazy money out here. I mean, there was loads like they would pay you just to get out of bed. Extra money, like please haul the load, and it was already paying good. There was a couple of loads back in those days where I call it the auto want to do it price. They would call me up and be like, hey, I got this load going to Dallas or whatever, and it's paying, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or whatever. And I would be like, nah, I don't want to do it. Like, like I just got home or whatever, whatever I got going on or whatever. And I just didn't want to do it because I already had done a whole bunch of them, right? And I had this broker that would always tell me, like, just give me your I don't want to do it price. And I remember that day I just threw him out an astronomical number. I was like, give me $15,000 and I'll do it. So I'm over here thinking in my mind, like, they ain't gonna pay me $15,000 to go to Dallas from El Paso. That's 600 miles, a day of driving. Calls me up 5 minutes later. Hey, I got you the $15,000. I sent you the confirmation to your email. What time can you go pick it up? Sure enough, $15,000 for 600 miles. And they paid it, So I don't think it's going to get times like that again, but I think it will get a little bit better. And my best advice to you guys that want to become an owner operator, and the start of 2025, or we're practically already at the end of 2024, is do your homework. Know where you want to go, look at the equipment, get your equipment inspected, try to have as much money as possible and try to keep your expenses low. But I think overall it's been rewarding. I like the fact that like I said, my freedom is priceless to me, to wherever that I can make my decisions on what I want to do, and it impacts only me, my business, me, and not having to, well, you got to go over here because it's forced dispatch and that's the way it is. You know what I mean? That was one of the biggest reasons why I went into owner operator. Again, you do want to make money, but the biggest thing for me was I wanted to have a say so on what I do or what I don't do, But yeah, those are my thoughts on for people who want to, you know, take that next step and become an owner operator. Those are the things that I would look for. Um, just keeping it real, guys. If you guys haven't watched any of my videos, help a guy out. Go through my list, watch a couple of videos, learn something, teach me something. If you guys know something that I don't, you know what I mean? Comment on the videos if you like them, don't like them, if you found it entertaining, or whatever it is you got on your mind. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of person that's going to censor anybody for saying their opinion. Um, I've said it before. The only time I would remove a comment is if it's like super hateful or anything like that. And to be honest with you, I think YouTube automatically does that already anyway. You know, but I ain't gonna be mad at you because you tell me, hey Gabe, you suck. You did this wrong. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it, and I'm gonna let it flow. You know what I mean? But yeah, guys. I mean, it really is a love-hate relationship. I wasn't too happy about having to do this repair right now. I wasn't anticipating doing anything to the truck right now. I just pretty much came to turn that bad boy on and let my batteries charge up, let her warm up because it had been, a couple of days that I hadn't turned it on. And well, expect the unexpected, I guess you could say. Lucky for me, it was just a pretty simple repair where I didn't have to really do much. Just inside here, I didn't even have to get dirty. I didn't have to wear gloves, nothing. It was all in here. But yeah, guys, that would be my recommendations to you guys that want to have that leap and change over. I would recommend doing it. Uh, maybe not particularly right now, but eventually do it. Unless you're good. Unless like, hey man, hey Gabe, I got 60, 70, 80 grand in the bank. I got no kids or nothing. Or even if I do, like I can manage, being away a couple of weeks at the house and make some money. Or, I'm mechanically inclined. Like do it, like make your own decision and don't let people make them for you is pretty much what I'm trying to say. If you think you can do it, then do it. At the end of the day, you don't want to have any regrets in not doing something in your life that you could have done. Because you never know how it's going to be, like, I have friends that have fleets that they took that leap of faith. They opened up their own motor carrier and, they got 30, 40, 50 trucks now, I just been pretty much a solo guy all the time. I did it before. I had a couple of trucks before, and it was just a nightmare dealing with that drivers, But I don't know, man. I'm kind of feeling optimistic again. If the market change, I might get me a couple of trucks again and start it all over again and give it a round two and see how it rolls. Usually the trucks that I had were, they're trucks, they're going to have issues or whatever. But, I usually gave my drivers pretty good equipment. It was just dealing with drivers, man. Sometimes you get a good driver, sometimes you don't. And that's just it. Everybody's looking for something different. There might be somebody who might say, hey, man, I'm making $1,200 right now as a company driver. And if I can make, $2,000 a week, a couple of $100 extra, and I can be home a little bit more, I'm okay with that. Or there might be another company driver that says, you know what, screw that, man. I want to make the big money. Even if it requires me to go out for months, I don't care. I just want to make money. That might make them happy. Or there might be another person where they just don't really want to work that much. Maybe they just want to do, 1 or 2 or 3 loads a month. I have a couple of friends of mine that do that. That they worked hard for a long time. They paid off their houses. They have no debt. They don't have a truck payment or anything, and they just kick back. They kick back. They get those good loads when they come out, and they roll it. They come back, and then they'll take another week or 2 off, and they'll just keep on doing that over and over and over, and that works for them. It really is depending on what works for you is what my assessment, I guess you can call it, would be. But that is one of my biggest regrets, is listening to so many people that were a little bit more on the negative side, like don't do it. I wish I would have done it. I know that my life would be 100% different if I had became an owner operator sooner. I strongly believe that I probably would have already had a fleet, because that was my initial goal when I started doing this. Um, and I would have got it younger. I mean, I was 21 years old right when I started, so let's just say I would have bought my first truck at 22. I'm 39 now. I think I would be in a different place. And so if that's something that you guys want to do, I mean, more power to you, man. I'm encouraging you to do it. Like, give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? You know, you can fail, and get your truck taken away or whatever, or you can sell it or whatever. Like there's so many different things you can do, but there's so many different sectors, guys, that you can look into to make money. I would probably say that right now the best money is probably in the oil field right now. I have several friends that are over there. I don't know, man. I mean, I might just pull the trigger, man, and go back to the oil field. I've been really thinking about it. I kind of was waiting on what everybody was waiting for, elections. Because elections have consequences on what happens with the economy. So I kind of want to see what's going to happen in that front. But I might go back. When I did it back in, what was it, 2014? I think I did it from 14 to, no, I did it from 2011 to 2016, I believe. Yeah. As an owner operator, I was killing it, man. I was making 15, 20 grand a week. A week. That was when there was oil like crazy, man. 2, 3, 4 loads a day. And that was legal. I was running a E-Log. The company that I was running for, Major Run E-Log. That was legal. I was making 15, 20 grand a week, But it's hard work. And back then I did have my tanker trailer, but then oil went down and I sold my tanker and all that stuff. And I don't know, man. I might be looking into maybe getting back to it right now. I really think about it because I'm really comfortable with the company that I'm associated with right now. I've told you guys that before, but I'm rambling, guys. That's just kind of my thoughts on what I wanted to say to you guys. If you guys are looking into becoming an owner operator or whatever, just listen to yourself within. Be smart about it. Save some money up. Find a good working truck. Get it inspected. Learn as much as you possibly can about it, and pull the trigger and go roll it. You know what I mean? Be willing to work hard, and I think it'll be rewarding. I think overall it's been rewarding, even though sometimes it's a pain in my ass, man, working on these trucks. You guys have seen my previous videos. You guys have seen that I have had issues with the truck, and it's just a pain in the ass sometimes, but I rather deal with those problems and have some sort of freedom than to be working for a company that says, hey, you have to do this, and either you do it our way or it's the highway. You know what I mean? But anyhow, guys, that's all what I got for you guys today. I just wanted to make this small video. For those of you guys watching up to this point, I appreciate you guys. Feel free to comment down below. Share the video. Give me a big thumbs up on the video. We will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe.